Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a woman who finds herself alone, without friends. What do you see? Don't rush through this thought. Take your time, for this is not just a story for women. This message is for anyone, regardless of gender, whether you are a man caught in the web of societal expectations or a woman searching for meaning beyond superficial relationships. Let Stoic philosophy guide you as we explore deeper truths that lie beyond the surface. Perhaps her solitude is not a burden or a punishment, but rather it is a rare gift, an invitation to go beyond the noise and distractions of the world. In a world where validation is often sought through the approval of others, this woman chooses a different path. She rejects the societal roles thrust upon her and refuses to chase the fleeting applause of crowds. What does she find in the silence? She finds herself. She discovers that her worth is not dependent on the opinions of others, but rather it is grounded in her own sense of inner peace and self-respect. As Marcus Aurelius once said, men seek retreats for themselves in the countryside, by the sea, in the hills, and you yourself are particularly prone to this yearning. What does this mean? It means that even in solitude, there is an opportunity for profound growth. Many of us are consumed by the desire to be loved, to belong, and to gather a circle of friends to validate our existence. But does this bring true freedom, or does it merely lock us in a beautifully adorned prison? The woman, the seeker of solitude, has chosen a different path. Rather than searching for meaning in the approval of others, she looks inward. She chooses to cultivate the deepest of friendships, the one with herself. What can we learn from her journey? In embracing solitude, she uncovers a world of wisdom and insight, discovering 10 valuable lessons that we too can apply to our lives. Let us explore these lessons together. 1. Embracing solitude for personal growth. There is a quiet strength in solitude, a power that fosters personal growth and self-discovery. When faced with loneliness, society often encourages us to seek comfort in the company of others, urging us to measure our worth by the size of our social circles. But is this truly the measure of a meaningful life? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. It is only when we embrace solitude that we begin to break free from the false assumptions of external validation and truly learn. A woman who chooses solitude does not view it as a curse, but rather as an opportunity. She learns to distinguish between shallow connections and those that are truly enriching. The value of relationships is not found in their quantity, but in their quality. Instead of chasing social events or engaging in superficial conversations, she seeks out people who will inspire her to grow, who will challenge her ideas, and who will support her on her journey toward becoming her best self. Imagine being at a crowded party where laughter fills the air and everyone seems to be having a good time. Yet, as you look around, you realize that the conversations are shallow and devoid of meaning, talking about fashion, social media, and gossip. You stand quietly, contemplating the emptiness of the moment, and ask yourself, what am I doing here? This realization is liberating. You choose to leave the party, knowing that your silence is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful affirmation of your values. By choosing solitude, you affirm that your time and energy are precious, and that you will not waste them on superficial interactions. Choosing solitude is an act of self-respect. In this space, you are free from the pressures and expectations of society. You are free to build relationships that truly matter, ones that are grounded in authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. This is not selfishness, it is self-preservation. As you let go of relationships that drain you, you make room for those that nourish your soul and align with your deepest values. In solitude, you not only find peace but the freedom to live life on your own terms. 2. Developing emotional resilience. Loneliness, when understood through the lens of Stoic philosophy, becomes a tool for developing emotional resilience. For the woman without friends, the absence of external distractions is not a sign of failure, but an opportunity for self-reflection and emotional growth. Without the noise of the world to drown out her thoughts, she is forced to confront her inner landscape. This confrontation is not easy, but it is necessary for growth. In solitude, she learns to embrace her emotions rather than be defined by them. She realizes that emotional resilience is not about avoiding pain or difficulty, but about learning how to navigate them with grace. When the world feels cold and distant, it is in these moments of loneliness that she discovers the depth of her own strength. She learns to trust herself, to rely on her inner wisdom, and to find peace in the midst of chaos. Emotional resilience, like any other skill, must be cultivated over time, and solitude provides the fertile ground for this cultivation. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Emotional resilience is about mastering our own minds, learning to control our reactions, our thoughts, and our emotions. A woman who chooses solitude embraces this practice. She knows that in times of solitude, she can strengthen her mind and spirit, preparing herself for the challenges that lie ahead. The absence of external validation becomes a catalyst for internal growth, allowing her to become more emotionally resilient and capable of facing the world with greater confidence. The power of self-reliance. One of the most profound lessons a woman without friends learns is the power of self-reliance. In a world that often tells us we need others to complete us, she discovers that true fulfillment comes from within. Her self-worth is not determined by the approval of others, but by her own ability to navigate life with grace, resilience, and clarity. Self-reliance is not about isolation, but about independence. It is about learning to trust in one's own abilities, to find strength in solitude, and to rely on internal resources rather than external validation. This woman, the seeker of solitude, knows that she is enough, just as she is. She does not need the approval of others to affirm her worth. Instead, she finds peace in knowing that her value is intrinsic, not defined by the fleeting opinions of others. This journey towards self-reliance is deeply empowering. It allows her to live authentically, free from the need for approval or the fear of judgment. She creates her own path, guided by her values, her intuition, and her sense of purpose. The woman who embraces solitude learns that her greatest strength lies in her ability to stand on her own, to trust herself, and to navigate life with confidence and clarity. 4. Letting go of toxic relationships. One of the most difficult yet liberating lessons the woman in solitude learns is the importance of letting go of toxic relationships. Many people are trapped in relationships that drain them, relationships that leave them feeling empty, unfulfilled, or even inferior. These relationships, whether with friends, family, or romantic partners, can undermine our sense of self-worth and erode our emotional well-being. In solitude, she finds the clarity to evaluate her relationships and to recognize those that are toxic. She is not afraid to walk away from people who no longer align with her values or who contribute to her unhappiness. Letting go is not an act of cruelty or selfishness, but an act of self-preservation. It is a way of protecting her peace and preserving her energy for those who truly matter. By letting go of toxic relationships, she makes space for healthier, more fulfilling connections. She learns that quality matters far more than quantity. True friends are those who support, challenge, and inspire her, those who encourage her to grow and who celebrate her for who she truly is. In the stillness of solitude, she finds the strength to walk away from toxic relationships and to embrace those that nurture her growth and well-being. Conclusion: solitude as a path to self-discovery. In the end, the woman without friends is not lonely, she is free. Her solitude is not a curse, but a gift, an opportunity for self-discovery, personal growth, and emotional resilience. Through her journey, she learns that true peace and fulfillment come not from the approval of others, but from the depth of her own soul. Her path is not one of isolation, but of empowerment. By embracing solitude, she discovers the richness of her own inner world and builds a life that is grounded in authenticity, self-respect, and meaning. In this quiet space, she finds the strength to let go of toxic relationships, to develop emotional resilience, and to cultivate the deepest and most important relationship of all, the one with herself. So the next time you find yourself in solitude,